Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the February Effect. I hope everyone's doing well with this heat wave. If you're in London, it's been really hot. How are you dealing with it, Heliana?
Well, thank you so much for having me here, Anna. It's a real pleasure. Yes, we are experiencing a very hot days these days, but maybe you can check how I can cope with the heat wave at home. I basically soak my feet in cold water with magnesium salt. I
Okay.
make ice pops with fruit juice and fresh fruits as well. And I also wear my cryo mask at night.
Oh, all right. That should help for sure. All,
Definitely.
all that I'm doing is like freezing bottles of water and just putting them under my bed.
Yes, of
Well, next to
course,
my bed
Anna.
just to make it a bit colder. Plus, also for everyone, I'm wearing my Mexico top. It's kind of from I don't know if it's really soccer or football. It's more like American football, I think it looks. But anyways, it's Mexican, and I have my Mexican necklace. Can you see Mexico?
Yeah. Now
Just
that you're
because we're
saying,
winning in the World Cup. Well, we're not winning, but what if we do? Right?
yeah, what if? Yeah. I mean, I have a very soft spot for Mexico, but I need to support Colombia anyway.
Of course, of
Otherwise,
course. Listen, if
it'll be
Mexico doesn't make it, we will support Colombia, and if Mexico Colombia
oh,
doesn't make it,
thank
you will support Mexico.
for sure. 100%. We have
Perfect.
witness here now.
Exactly. So, everyone, I just want to introduce Eliana. Her name is Eliana Bodoya. She's the founder of a platform called NeuroEsencia, which is basically an amazing. I found this amazing. It's a platform to support and empower neurodivergent families and communities throughout nutrition and mindful living. Eliana, can you tell us more about this and maybe give us a little introduction about yourself as well? Because I want everybody to know where you come from as well.
Of course. So I am Eliana Bedoya, as Anna just said, and I am the founder of NeuroEsencia. So I am originally from Colombia. I've been living in the UK for 21 years and initially came here only to learn English and wanted to stay for 7 months, but 7 months just got into 21 years. I don't know
That's
how.
crazy.
No, I am grateful for this country, what everything that has offered me. I started to study English and then developed my career here. Then I was working as a project director for companies that do market research in healthcare mainly. And then I became a mother, and that changed everything. My first son is autistic and ADHD. I don't know if you noticed, but I don't use he has autism or he has ADHD. It's important to establish the difference because it's just a condition. Okay. So he is neurodivergent, he is autistic, and he's ADHD, right? Now, with the support that we started to provide to him, even before having the diagnosis, we found out a very interesting approach through functional medicine and nutrition. We were basically able to transform a lot of his struggles. We are
What
not
you mean
trying to
is,
change him.
so basically, I remember you did mention before that on our personal conversations that you tried lots of different doctors, wasn't it? Until you actually realized the importance of nutrition and the importance of mindful living and changing little habits in your life.
Right. So because he was too young, he was only 18 months when
Mm.
we were suggested that he had traits of autism. It was a pediatrician in Colombia. It wasn't in the UK.
Oh, I see.
So coming back here, we were basically they were closing the doors on our faces because they were saying he's very young, he's still developing, and we cannot diagnose him. And there are a lot of problems with the system, or before, and I would say even now, where they send you from the GP to the school to the family, and it could happen. It could be basically after a few years that you actually get a diagnosis.
Hmm.
So before having the diagnosis, as I said, we explored different options. We couldn't explore options with doctors in here because basically we were not um, served. But when we discovered functional medicine and nutrition to help with the struggles, that's when everything transformed. As
Mm.
you said, just with little changes in our lifestyles, being more mindful about where we buy the foods, how we communicate the kids about the food, and the relationship in general towards food.
Can you give us an example of what sort of like changes in nutrition were like one of the biggest ones that you realize, wow, I can see a change in my child?
Of course. So with this work, it's a lot of research and not so much of guessing, but you can
Mm.
observe the kid, of course. And we did a series of tests. Unfortunately, the tests are not available through the NHS, so they are
Mm.
private tests, but they're quite pricey, but we see that as an investment.
Of course.
So the test can check your DNA, the test can check your neurotransmitters, things that are happening inside your body. So in with the test results, you are able to see nutrition deficiencies, what is he lacking of in terms of vitamins or nutrients in general.
Hmm.
So we discover that gluten and dairy, to start with, just to mention a couple, were not very good for him, for his gut, and therefore for his behavior. Because when we eat well, we feel better, and then we can make better decisions, right?
Hmm.
So we were able to notice, unfortunately, for many neurodivergent kids, there are a lot of sensory issues, okay? And some of them, or many of them, are picky eaters and fussy eaters, which means they only go for the safe foods and the same foods. And in many cases, this is like a beige diet. So a lot of pasta, bread, nothing so much in terms of colors from veggies or fruits. And that's how we were playing. We were buying a lot of these foods because that's what he was eating. And we were seeing a very dysregulated kid constantly, lack on appetite, difficulties to fall asleep, difficulties to calm down when he was dysregulated, like throwing tantrums or meltdowns out of the blue.
Hmm.
And those were constant and for a very long period. Okay. Then we were able to see that he was, for example, lack on iron and zinc. So we
Okay.
started to support with the help of a professional, a functional medicine practitioner who is specialized in nutrition as well. Then we were able to help with the supplements and the diet as well. Now, we have these days under control. However, when he's exposed to these foods, because, for example, he goes to parties and not everyone can cater for his needs,
Other kids'
then
houses.
correct. Then the problem is the following day, you see a kid who is, in a very fun way, I would say, is like on a very bad hangover. A
Right.
kid who is already said, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know what's happening. I don't know why I feel this way. And the same goes for ultra processed foods and sweets. So I am a true believer. The kids, they are developing their brains. They don't need these chemicals. They don't need these loaded sugary foods. The best is just to have a very simple cook from scratch whenever possible, and just like that.
So would you say that there was like a specific vegetable or fruit or item that you found was helping them better? So obviously to reduce all of that beige food that you said that it's actually full of gluten, right? So is there
Yeah.
anything specific veggies that you suggest people can eat on a regular basis that could help?
Yes. So I basically I cannot tell you this is the best for them, but because everything is needs to be and should be personalized, and the
I see.
medicine is going towards that aspect. Thanks God. Um, you need to know what's going on inside your body to be able to determine what is the best foods for you. Okay, because some people tolerate keto diet very well, but some others maybe not, because we
Mm-hmm.
all act as a universe in our bodies. However, adding as many colors as possible from spinach, from beetroot, from carrots is very important. And protein from very early in the morning, from breakfast basically, because that's going to set
The tone for the day.
the tone for the day, correct, and support with omega 3. So
Okay.
fatty acids, salmon, um, avocado, flax seeds, all of these supports the gut and then supports the brain, because we cannot deny the connection between the gut and the brain through the vagus nerve.
Well,
Yeah.
apparently it's our second brain, isn't it? Gut
Yes,
health.
and
I think it's a lot of people are talking about gut health because they're realizing how important it is. Because basically, yeah, the more bad stuff you eat, the more your stomach develops the cravings for these things. So obviously the healthier you get, the more colorful veggies you eat, the more you're gonna want to crave these things, right?
absolutely. And some people are now talking about the first brain, because it's where you get the neurotransmitters
Mm.
created in the gut, and then they will travel all the way to the brain. So that's why there is a tendency, or there is a movement in some places where they are calling the gut as our first brain.
Or first brain. Interesting. Very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Eliana, I do want you to tell us a little bit about your marriage. Well, not about how is your marriage going, but I'm sure it's going great. But how you met your husband, because I think it's such a cool story as well as a Latina coming to London just to learn the language and just be here for 7 months.
I know.
And how that took you to like a different type of life that you were not expecting to have. And just tell us a little bit of your love story, and then we can
Oh,
continue more with your company. It's because I
of
think it's
course.
important for everybody to know, because I love this story. I love love stories.
Sweet, of course. So, yeah, I was living in London for 13, 14 years already.
Oh, well,
And
okay.
I went to a white party for New Year's Eve. I was with my sister and I was with a couple of friends. So, in our heads, for some reason, we thought this was going to be like a crazy party, because it was like a kind of like warehouse near Notting Hill for the New Year's Eve white party. So, we thought, wow, we need to do like the best we can with in terms of our outfits. So our two friends, they got dressed up as girls with pink wigs, with boa feathers and dresses. So we were, of course, like the center of attention, because no one else in that party were dressing up
Oh,
like,
wow.
because no one else at that party was dressing up like crazy. They were all normal. So of course we got a lot of attention. And yeah, I was with my sister at the bar, and then I got this guy coming to talk to me and saying, I would like to apologize in advance for my friend's behavior. And I was like, who are your friends and what are they going to do? Why do you need to apologize in advance? Anyway, that's how our conversation started. And I thought it was super cute to see this oriental looking guy speaking in a very English accent. I thought that was quite cool. I don't know. But I
Exotic.
felt very exotic, of course. But I felt something that day. I felt something very special. I cannot describe it until these days. And we basically started dating after that night. I met his friends. We started to go out. And yes, so he's from Vietnam and he grew up in the UK. So he came here when he was 4 or 5 years.
Hmm.
So it's been here for like over 40 years. And yes, so we have a very multicultural marriage
And
as he.
you had two weddings, right?
Yes, we had 3 weddings
Three
actually.
weddings, right?
So we had a wedding in London for the all the friends and family who live here. And so it was like a small gathering, I would say, near St. Paul's. It was beautiful. Um, and then we had a wedding in Vietnam because he has all the family from the father's side there in Vietnam. So we had the wedding there because it was difficult logistically for them to travel to here to the UK or to Colombia. And then we had a big wedding in Colombia. We had around 200 people
Of
and
course.
in a very hot place.
Yeah.
I think these days basically are bringing a lot of memories because we are thinking about our wedding. And it was so special because I organized all the activities for all the guests that were coming from here. I organized all the hotels. I organized every single thing, dinners and lunches, everything. Even the coach that we were using to travel around.
Oh, you got a coach.
And
That's great.
yeah, we got a coach. And then when we were arriving at the restaurants, they thought I was the tour guide. So they were saying to me, "Oh, we have discount for the tour guides." I was like, "Oh, this is great,"
Cheers.
because of course, because of
Uh,
course, I mean, we had people from the Caribbean, we had people from the Middle East, we had people from Asia and the UK. So of course, it was like a proper tour.
yeah. Well, that
So,
sounds class.
yes,
That's
yes.
really cool to have three weddings.
To
Well, I
be
think you cover
honest,
it all.
modest apart, I still have friends who are asking me or who are telling me that it was the best wedding ever.
I can imagine.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Like the one
Yes.
in Colombia.
Yes, absolutely. The one in
Yeah. I
Colombia.
mean,
Yeah.
200 people, that's the way Latino do it, right?
Yes,
We do
that's
it.
right. And we basically we rented the whole hotel. So we partied there, we ate there. The following day we chilled by the pool.
Like a
Sorry.
proper after party.
Yes, yes. No,
Yeah.
it was like a good 2 weeks full on.
Amazing. Amazing. We
Yeah.
cannot deny our roots, Eliana.
No,
We
no,
can't.
no. And the
Per-
hora loca.
and the
Basically,
what? The hora loca.
the
The
hora loca,
crazy
yes,
hour.
the crazy hour, yes. So the crazy hour is where, like, in the middle of the party, you get a lot of like big glasses. I mean, you can have different themes, but our
Mm.
theme was like a circus. So we had wigs and hats, funny hats, and big glasses, and then we had some like Brazilian looking
Carnival, sort of.
carnivals, yeah, carnival dancers. So we had
Oh,
competition
wow.
between the men, the women. No, it was fantastic.
Oh, that
Like,
sounds class. I wish I had been
yes.
there.
Oh, yes. Maybe for the next one, like if we celebrate like our
Yeah, exactly.
anniversary with a
Not with
wedding.
the yeah. Not
No,
another
no, with another man. No.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, thank you so much for sharing that because I just love a wee love story.
It's
So
beautiful because it brings
let's
a lot of good
continue.
memories.
Exactly. I can imagine, guys. And so basically I want you to tell me what was the moment. Was there like a moment that you decided, because obviously you were working for different companies before, and then suddenly you decided to do this after having your child. So was there a specific moment that you said, I want to devote my life to this? I have found my calling. Because I know this is your calling.
Yes.
It is, of course.
I know, I know. So yes, absolutely. Yes, I had a normal job, happy, content, let's say. And whenever I was hearing people saying, you need to follow your dreams, go for what makes you happy, go for your passion. And I was always saying, like, I don't have a passion. I don't have something that is just basically saying to me, you need to get up for this because, this is it. So I had some therapy, like a counseling, and I was asking the person in charge, and she was saying, like, not everyone has a passion, not everyone needs to have a hobby. And I was like, okay, but I never bought that, to be honest.
You never believed it.
No,
Mm.
yes, I was content in my in my job. I had an amazing team. and directors, the companies I work for, like I'm, eternally grateful for them. But it wasn't something I would die for. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
So one day I had a spa day with a friend I hadn't seen for like 4 or 5 years. And the friend I found was a completely different person. And she was telling me all about this personal development she was going through and professional development as well. And
Oh,
she basically, yeah.
was that the Joe Dispenza thing?
So no, this was a spa. We went to a spa.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So
We're getting there.
basically,
We're getting there.
yes, we're
Yeah,
getting
yeah, yeah,
there.
we're getting there.
I will try to be very brief because I
No,
give
that's
a
fine.
lot of details. And so basically, she mentioned the concept ikigai or philosophy, and she started to explain to me what the ikigai was about. And then I was fascinated. And then something basically it like the aha moment.
Clicked.
Yeah. And then she said, don't worry, we will work it out. I will try to find your ikigai. I was like, no, I got it, inside of me. I didn't want to be like full of myself saying this, but I said, like, I think I got it. Then I started to explore, like I did an event with my functional nutrition, functional medicine practitioner. I brought her to our community and I got a group of families to talk about nutrition, neurodiversity, and all of that. And I started to go through that path, but then I was keeping my work, of course, my job. Then one day I said to the universe, I need a sign. What am I going to do? Like, I need to pay the bills, but I have this calling, like there's something like burning inside yourself telling you this is what you have to do. So I said that 5 p.m. on a Friday, and then at 7 p.m., the same friend who I went to spa with called me and said, I have tickets to go to Joe Dispenza in Switzerland. It's a 3 days retreat, and you don't need to pay for anything. Everything is paid for. The person who was going is not going anymore, and just get the ticket and go. And I was like, oh my goodness, I cannot miss this. And yes, so I went there with the intention to have clarity, to explore, to see, because it was my first time in a retreat like
I think
this.
also you were in a very open-minded state, which
Yes.
is when things happen for you.
Yes.
Because you created that environment.
I am 100% with you. So I went there, finished the retreat, and then I was in the shower on the day I was coming back home, and then I had a download, just literally like this: quit your job. It's almost like the little angel telling you something, and then it was like that. And now I decided. My friend went out with Dr. Joe Dispenza for lunch and another group. And when she came back to the hotel, I said, I had made the decision. She was in such a shock. She was like, oh my God, what? So, of course, it was tricky to come back home and tell my husband and my kids the decision I have made without even consulting anyone or, thinking too much. It was just like that. And that's how it happened.
And then you started NeuroEsencia, which is
Well,
basically NeuroEssence. But
yes,
obviously,
correct.
you must have started from something different before then.
I started without a name. It's almost like when you have babies and they don't have the name for months. I didn't think that was possible.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
I started like that. Exactly like that. So that was around February, actually.
Yay! I'm telling you, February changes your life. Even if it
Uh,
if it feels like a bad change, it's probably for a better thing
there is
coming up.
never.
It's like a redirection, or it's like a cleaning up. Well, I think on my intro, I don't know if you've seen it, but when I decided on the name, the February effect, after all the things that happened to me in February,
Yeah.
I also spoke to my dad and I told him, guys, I have a name for my podcast finally. And then I told my dad, yeah, this is a name. And then my dad was like, well, that's amazing because you know what February comes from. And I was like, no, it comes from the Roman word, februa, which it was a celebration from the Romans that they used to like close a cycle for winter, get like
Oh,
remove all the bad vibes, all the bad things that happened on the past, and start from new, from fresh, and welcoming the spring, the happiness, like joy. So that's the celebration called Februa, which is crazy.
how
So
special.
you've
So
got your
without
own,
knowing,
yeah, you got your own February effect.
absolutely.
Yay.
Maybe I need to do a post about this.
Oh,
So
100%. Tag me.
yes, of course I will. Thank you for all this knowledge that you are sharing. So yes, and then also, so I started to do some events, and I started to be more active on social media, which was completely out of my comfort zone. Like I was never
Amazing.
posting anything, and when they were saying you need to show your face and do videos, and I was like, what? Like almost like made me sick. But I started to do it from a very like from a place of love, that I didn't care anymore
Hmm.
about how I look. Like, for example, today, I would love to have my hair done, like have proper makeup and all of that. But the weather is not allowing us to do that. So we go with the flow.
Exactly. This is us, guys. No makeup. Natural Latinas.
Yes. So yes. So then my husband and I had some brainstorming, and then we came up with NeuroEsencia, which
Amazing.
of course, yeah, it includes the word neuro, as you know, but also the esencia. I wanted to keep it in Castellano or Spanish to, to honor our Latin roots.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I think it's a really cool name. It's basically neuro essence
Correct.
for the English speakers. But I think it's a really cool name because it keeps like the wholesome and the kind of like mindful part of the whole platform. So tell us about this platform, Eliana. How does it work? How do people join? How
Yeah.
can it benefit their lives?
Of course, yeah. So everything, as you can imagine, is in development, and we have developed a lot of things already. So we do, for example, talks like at companies and schools and communities, and then also I developed a private, so it's called private breakfast experience,
Okay.
where we go to the families' houses, or for example, one family can host and then some other families can join. So the kids sit almost like a play date,
Hmm.
but then they will learn about a little bit about neuroscience. They will learn about nutrition, and they will experience it. Of course, it's not like a science class or a science class by all means, but it's mainly for them to be hands on, touching ingredients, smelling different things, experiencing different textures. They don't need to try everything, but the more they are familiarized with the foods, the less it's going to be like an alien for them. Because
Like a weird thing.
of course, because many kids refuse new foods because um, in the past, our ancestors had the same fear. Is survival, how do you call it? Survival
Instinct.
instinct is a
Mm.
survival instinct where you don't try something new because of the fear of getting poisoned. Okay, so that's imprinted in ourselves. So the more they can play in the decision making of what they're gonna eat. Parents can play with them, saying like, okay, you can have this dish today or this other dish, always in the same level of like a nutritional level, healthy food and all of that. But at least if you give them the idea that they are in control, then it's easier for them to accept it. Then
I
if you
guess
can't get
when you do these communities as well, I think you also teach a lot to the parents because maybe they come from like a cultural place where like eating lots of veggies or vegetables are not that common, and you can actually make them realize how important they are, so
Yes,
they can pass on those ideas to their children, because if they're only eating like chicken nuggets, kids are only gonna eat chicken nuggets, right?
that's right. That's right.
So
And it's
you're
like,
creating change.
oh, thank you. And I believe it's possible because I've seen it with my son. He was a very picky eater, a very fussy eater. Again, as I said, very beige food, very beige diet. I had the idea that we were healthy, but
Hmm.
then there was a whole world to get discovered out there. And I've seen, and it's not going to happen overnight, but it's consistency is just showing up every day with a little thing, baby step, and you will see how transformative it is. My son, for example, he couldn't sit at the table if there was something green on the table.
Mm.
Now he can prepare his spinach juice, for example, and have it no problem. And again, it's not only about showing them, okay, eat this tomato. You can have, of course, you can hide it in the food that they like. If they like pasta, then of course you can hide the veggies in the pasta sauce. Or for example, if they like tortillas, then you can make it with the flour, ideally, of course, homemade. So you can mix, for example, spinach puree or beetroot puree.
Mm.
Play with that with different textures and different colors.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. That sounds like an incredible platform to have. I'm gonna leave the link to your platform on the description
Please, please,
below. So
thank you.
guys, please have
Yeah.
a look at that. And
Yes.
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Eliana. This I find this episode is going to be very educational, and
Yeah.
I hope it helps a lot of people out there, or even if you don't deal with these type of things, I'm sure you know someone who will benefit from this. So guys, follow along to listen to more people like Eliana. um
Thank you.
and just to finish up, is there any tips or tricks that you have for us regarding how to find your passion? Or because I think it's interesting that you actually went to see someone and they told you some people can live life without a passion or like a calling, and I don't believe that. I think we were all put on this earth for a purpose, like whatever it is. There's like, if it's to make origami, it's to make origami, so is there anything you want to share so people get inspired to actually continue finding that calling and not giving up, because they definitely have a calling, they just need to go deeper? Or what would you say?
Yes. So all of this that is happening to me wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for a, I want to call it a spiritual awakening, but maybe a consciousness
Hmm.
awakening. And
Like,
that's only that was that happened only because I allowed to tune in and basically turn off the volume from the
and all the
outside
noise.
and all the noise. So meditation for me is been transformative.
Okay.
That's it.
I
You
think
know,
yeah, it's definitely important to remove the noise from society, the noise of like what people tell you you should do. You should listen to your own body, to your own self, because you have the answer in you,
yeah.
right?
And as part of a NeuroEsencia as well, I curate holistic events, for example, breath work, sound healing for kids and their families as well, because
Mm.
it's very powerful to regulate the nervous system. But also, something as simple as sitting down on your own in the morning, as soon as you wake up, 5 minutes, and then you can build it up. But that's basically, it's almost like if you do it, you are able to see miracles during the day because that's the only way for you to listen to your actual self. That's
Yeah.
it. That's all I want to say. No matter what religion you follow, no matter what creed you have, it's not about being religious or not. I'm a truly believer that Jesus used to meditate. I mean, he meditated. Of course, some places they call it praying, but in a sense, it's just having a clear intention with an elevated emotion, as Joe Dispenza said.
Yeah,
That for me, it's been key.
100%. Well, I'm just gonna end with a very amazing phrase that I love. This is biblical, but ask and you will receive.
Exactly.
And
That's
that comes to
exactly it.
like what we say in Mexico, that probably you guys say too in Colombia. Whoever searches finds.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So there we go.
It's And even if you don't have clarity, because I started NeuroEsencia with zero clarity, just a lot of instinct, but knowing that there was something out there, something else, something bigger. Okay. But even if you don't feel it, just tune in and you will find it.
100%. And take action.
Yeah, of course.
Take action. Amazing. Thank you so much, Heliana. This has been super inspirational. And thanks everyone for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, follow along for the journey to listen to more stories like Eliana's and mine as well. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Heliana.
Anna. All the best.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers.
Thank you.